Hi, everyone. We are here to continue our series on the Teacher's Guide to Trauma. This week, I believe we're on chapter 15.
I think so.
Yeah. And so you'll see a little bit of a difference in presenting today. Today and moving forward, it will just be myself, Kaylee Hand, and Deb Benali. But we're going to finish this out and get these chapters out to you guys pretty quick. So today we're going to be talking about lightening up even when I'm pushing your buttons. So if you can stay light, it will relax my fear response. Of all lessons I learned from Theo and other traumatized children, this may be the hardest. When children interrupt a lesson by calling out, challenging our authority, failing to comply with directions, we sometimes get angry. Children are really good at finding our buttons and pushing them for a response. That is part of that attachment and relationship that they are looking for.
Sometimes we get our feelings hurt. After all, we prepared this lesson with care and deep consideration for our students. They are not deliberately trying to make you angry or to hurt your feelings.
Sometimes a student's inability to participate in the lesson, especially if the student does this frequently, creates an emotional response for us. Like Deb was saying, they're doing this to us, or so we feel, but they're not. Oh, sorry. I don't know. There we go.
This is it. There we go. Was this one?
Yes.
It is very difficult to remain detached, calm, and collected when our feelings are hurt or we are angry. However, for our students with trauma, staying calm and holding on to a sense of humor can be a very powerful tool because, as Kaylee said earlier, they are looking for attachment and relationship. And maybe the only way they have ever learned how to get it is to push people's buttons.
There once was a student, we'll call him Wilson, who struggled with his behavior in the lunchroom. Wilson was in middle school, a new student, and was having a tough time adjusting. The lunchroom was a loud place, teeming with organized chaos. Just from this little bit, I'm hearing a child who has had a lot of instability and is maybe feeling a little overwhelmed and overstimulated by the lunchroom.
About 3 days each week, Wilson would cause a significant disruption in the lunchroom. He would stand up, knocking over his chair in the process, and or challenge a fellow student, or he would punch the Snapple machine. If we slow down and think reflectively, what's his behavior telling us? It's really something to think about. What's his behavior saying?
Dr. Sadin had heard about his behavior. One day, she was called to the lunchroom to meet Wilson. He was standing by the broken Snapple machine with a chair above his head. She walked up beside him and said, "Having a tough day?" With the chair above his head, he looked at her, then at the Snapple machine and said, "Yeah." She said, "Me too. I was hoping to have a Snapple today." Wilson replied, "Too bad, it's broken."
Melissa told him she was aware that the machine was broken. Slowly, he put the chair down. She asked him if he liked Snapple, and he smiled and said he did. She invited him to walk with her, and they left the lunchroom.
They talked a bit about what had made him so angry. It was a lot of things Dr. Sadin could not change for him in a day. He was having problems with peers and his schoolwork.
He was also very willing to tell her that it was everyone else's fault. They circled back to the Snapple machine, and they decided together that the lunchroom was not a successful place for him right now. They made a plan for him to visit her the next day during lunch. Kind of want to point out the first statement. He was also very willing to tell her that it was everyone else's fault. Very, very common with kids of trauma, that they will blame everyone else. And that's not a judgment, it's just a statement.
Even young children can make plans for success. After a few days of eating lunch together, Wilson and Dr. Sadin made a plan for Wilson to earn money to repair the Snapple machine. He never punched the machine again. I'm hearing in this story the ability for an adult to listen to a child, to hear, but not to respond. And the power that has come from someone sitting down to listen with Wilson.
Five top tips for relieving stress. Other things were done for Wilson. He met with the counselor a day or two a week during lunch for about 2 months. Here are some other things: eating a better meal, fill your plate with lean meats, having nutritious foods, exercise, find something you enjoy and do it each day. Get at least 7 hours of sleep each night, drink lots of water, and make a task list and mark each thing off as you go. Some suggestions for relieving stress.
Wilson was taught to get in touch with the dysregulation he felt in the loud, busy lunchroom. He returned to the lunchroom after a few months and never had another outburst. With this image here, you'll see acceptance and change. And within those two words, there's mindfulness, non-judgmental awareness of the present moment, including our thoughts and emotions. We have emotion regulation, changing unwanted emotions, reducing vulnerability to emotions. Distress tolerance, learning how to tolerate our emotions in a crisis situation without making things worse. And interpersonal effectiveness, improving and maintaining relationships and self-respect.
Dr. Sadin says, "It was scary to walk up next to him. My heart was pounding. It is very difficult for most of us to be light or tell a joke when we are angry or frightened." But her ability to keep regulated helped Wilson to get regulated. Her approach is what made all the difference.
Wilson shifted out of his hyper arousal because I approached him with the calm and sense of humor he was sorely lacking in that moment. When we approach an angry situation with anger, we're just adding gasoline to that fire. When we can approach it with a calm body, a calm mind, and maybe even a sense of humor, we're able to begin to put out that fire.
We laughed a lot on our walk that day. Just because we laughed does not mean that he was not going to be held accountable. Because remember, life is better when you're laughing. When you laugh, you've got different hormones being released in your body. Your whole perspective can change on how you approach something.
I could have scolded Wilson. There is a difference in accountability and scolding or punishment.
He could have been given a speech about respecting property and all the school rules he broke. But you know what? He already knows that. He doesn't need to be given a speech. He knows what he did.
I chose to diffuse him and help him fix what he broke. While the student was older, even young children benefit from this approach. I am in charge of how I feel today. Again, I just said it, but there is a difference in accountability and punishment. And having a way to help diffuse those heightened emotions while still helping them learn and have accountability for their actions.
Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is relax. Take a breath and just relax.
This PowerPoint was created by Kristen Love. She is a part of our team. You've seen her in a few of our videos prior. And then, as always, here is all of our contact information. And our reference for the book. Deb, is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, just thank you. And I hope you all enjoy chapter 15.
Bye, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.